Hi there, welcome to this week's episode of NDTV. My name is Corinne Brown, naturopathic doctor, labor doula, mother, and host of this episode, where today we are chatting about something that's been on my mind a lot lately: natural birth. As a mom, an ND, a labor doula, and a total birth junkie, this is my favorite topic to talk about. With just 3 little months left in this pregnancy, I'm really thinking that it's time for me to start hunkering down and training for my birth. And yes, I said training. Preparation for a natural labor takes mental and physical conditioning. I liken it to running a marathon, and I try to give it the same air of training and intense dedication. Now, this is my second baby, so I do kind of have some idea what I am in for. But I loved my first labor, loved it, and I'm so excited to do it again. Now, this is probably in direct opposition to how you usually hear women describe their labors, but I think loving your labor is so powerful, and I really am excited about setting women up to create a labor that they're going to love to remember forever. Now, to clarify, when I say that this video is about natural birth, I don't necessarily mean without pain medication. When I say natural birth, I'm referring to the natural method of giving birth, which is vaginally. So although it's not my intention to make anyone feel bad about their birth experience, it is my intention to clearly communicate the science, the medical facts, the natural lowdown, so that if you are currently pregnant or planning to get pregnant in the future, that you understand why a vaginal birth is the healthiest, safest way to bring your baby into this world. Now, before all you C-section mamas raise your hand and say, hey, I had a C-section with my kid and he or she is absolutely perfect, I think it's important for you to know that I myself had a C-section with my son. I trained, I planned, I did all the groundwork, and I still ended up in the OR. And I completely agree with you. He was just fine. And actually, he was the picture of perfection, at least in my starry, glazy, new mommy eyes. However, this time around, I am once again aiming for that vaginal birth that is so health promoting in so many ways. Whenever people ask me what my birth plan is this time, I have one word for them. Actually, it's not even a word, it's like an acronym. VBAC, vaginal birth after cesarean. Now, you want your baby going toward the light, down the baby tube, out the birth canal for these following reasons. Number 1, the squeezing action. So as a baby is coming down the birth canal, obviously it's a tight fit. And obviously that baby was also floating in amniotic fluid for the last 9 months. So there is a portion of its lungs that contain fluid. That squeezing action as the baby is pushed through the vagina helps to squeeze that fluid out of their lungs. Number 2, safer. By a mile, vaginal birth is the safest possible way to give birth. The lowest amount of infection or complication happens with a vaginal birth. Number 3, no scar. When you have a vaginal birth with your first child, that sets your body up to deliver more vaginal births successfully. If you have a C-section with one child, that puts your next labor at risk for uterine rupture. Number 4 is the natural way. Vaginally is the way that your body was designed to bring babies into this world. Anything other than vaginally, meaning a C-section, is bypassing that natural process. By having a C-section, we miss out on the physical and the mental emotional benefits of having a baby vaginally. And it also increases our risk for infection and complications, which would come with a major abdominal surgery like a cesarean section. When in doubt, trust in nature. Number 5, we already touched on this a little bit, but having a vaginal birth successfully sets your body up to have easier vaginal births in the future. So usually the hardest and longest labor for women is their first time. After that, the body kind of says, you know what, this isn't my first rodeo. Number 6, birth is spiritually transformational. You have a spiritual transformation as a woman, from a woman to now a mother, no matter how the baby is born, for sure. But there's something about experiencing your what it was naturally meant to do and to birth a baby that way is so incredibly powerful, and I have witnessed countless women go through that transformation, and it is absolutely stunning. Number 7, I have definitely witnessed a relationship transformation. So not only from going from a couple now to parents, but a bond between mom and partner that is so incredibly deepened by this process. And there is that extra edge to the vaginal birth that really creates a sense of awe and amazement in a partner witnessing mom go through vaginal birth. And number 8, I left this one for the last because it's the kicker. This is the numero uno reason that babies need to be born vaginally. It's because of the floral transfer, which gives you a really nice visual of babies being born into like a bed of flowers, doesn't it? As you know, I'm speaking about the human bioflora, the population of bacteria, minuscule bacteria that outnumber us 10 to 1, that line all of our surfaces and our wet surfaces in order to protect us from the outside world, modulate our immune system. And when the baby is born vaginally, it is exposed to all of mom's vaginal flora. This is step 1 to raising young, healthy children with robust, competent immune systems. Now, as another sidebar, breastfeeding continues this process of developing now those flora and continually growing that bioflora in the young baby. It's only supporting its immune system further, but the vaginal birth alone does a lot in this area. So those are some really great reasons to fight for a natural birth. Now, how do you do that? I mean, most women kind of think that their bodies just go into labor and what happens, happens. But that's not necessarily what I believe. I believe that you can prepare for your labor, you can train for your labor, and you can teach your body how to be ready when the time comes. But there are 3 big ways that you can maximize your chances of having a successful vaginal birth. And they are: prepare mentally, prepare physically, and prepare a support system. Prepare mentally to avoid feeling panicked or frightened or confused during labor. I want to walk you through each and every step of the labor process and really prepare you for what you might expect at each stage and what it all means. No one can really prepare you for the sensations that come in labor, but what we can do is prepare you for how to handle them. Preparing physically can help to avoid a slow or a stalled labor. By training the uterus and ripening the cervix, we are getting the body ready to be as efficient as it possibly can on game day. If the uterus is not toned, the contractions will be weak and scattered, and they won't have that build-up effect that helps the cervix to dilate properly. And preparing a support system will avoid you from feeling unsupported, lonely, or scared during labor. Women need to be treated like goddesses during labor, like every whim catered to. It is incredibly hard work, and there is nothing more motivating in that time than feeling loved and supported. If you are pregnant right now, I want to blow the socks off of your birth experience with this new labor preparation program that I have coming up that I'm so excited about, in case you can't tell. If you want to hear more about the birth and labor preparation program, raise your virtual hand by jotting your name and email address below, and I will be sure to fill you in on the details once they come out. So because I'm so excited about this topic, we're going to do something a little bit interactive and fun today. In the comments section below, I want you to write your birth experience. Every woman loves to talk about her birth story. It's a rite of passage, and once you have walked through those gates, you are dying to talk about it. Now go and hug any mother you have ever met, because birth is one of the most fascinating, fabulous, beautiful experiences that has ever existed in the world. And I am so excited to share more of my knowledge on that topic with you. Get out there and spread some mama love, because remember, if mama ain't healthy, ain't nobody healthy. Thank Thank you again so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on NDTV.